everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about all my favorites of 2023. There are a lot of different categories. We've got TV shows, movies, skincare, my purchases, health stuff, and things I've learned. I've been doing a lot of book videos, so I will not be talking about books at all in this video. If you want to see my favorite books of 2023, you can watch my most recent video, which is my tier ranking of all the 100 books I read this year. But if you're not a reader, that is totally cool. You can watch this video and not worry about getting book recommendations if you don't want to. So let's just hop on into my favorites of the year. I will preface that some of these aren't favorites that are new this year. It's just things that I've discovered this year or rediscovered. Let's start off with fun stuff. Let's talk about TV shows. Now, I don't watch a ton of TV, but when I do, I get invested. I get hyperfixations when it comes to TV shows and movies. If I find something good, I'll watch every behind the scenes video, every interview, every edit on Instagram and TikTok. It's kind of wild, but it's healthy, right? Starting off with my hyperfixation in February to now. Yes, you heard that right. I'm still obsessed with it. Outer Banks. Outer Banks season 3 came out in February. I saw that season 3 was coming out in February. I saw a trailer or I saw an edit. So I wanted to watch the first season and the second season so I could be prepared for the third season coming out. I watched the first season when it came out. I wasn't obsessed with it. I was a lot younger too. It is rated mature audience, so I think it's 17 and up. The language is very strong, but other than that, there was nothing bad in the show. I never watched season 2 though. So I watched the first season and the second season in the span of maybe a week or 2 weeks in preparation for the third season coming out. And I distinctly remember the day season 3 came out. It was coming out on a Thursday, February 23rd. It is so sad that I remember this. It was premiering at 12 a.m., but that was Pacific time. So I'm over here on the East Coast. At 3 a.m. it's coming out. I don't do that kind of stuff. You won't catch me awake at 3 a.m. often. I don't stay up that late and I don't wake up that early. But this night was so weird for me. I remember I had just finished a murder mystery book. It was really creeping me out and I could not fall asleep. I was laying in bed just staring at the ceiling because I was like freaked out by this book and I couldn't go to bed until 2 a.m. I finally dozed off for maybe 30 minutes. I woke up, it's 2:30. In my mind, I'm like, Outer Banks season 3 comes out in 30 minutes. No, Lydia, you have to go to bed. You have to go to bed. So I made myself lay in bed, I think until 4 a.m. Never fell asleep. I finally caved and watched the first episode in bed at 4 a.m. an hour after it had been released. I think I watched the full season in less than a week because it was just so good. And yes, that night I only got 30 minutes of sleep. It was an interesting day, let's say that. Anyway, if you've not heard of Outer Banks, it's this group of teenagers, even though they're not teenagers in real life, they're like late 20s and 30s. They go on a treasure hunt, which sounds really basic and childish, but it's not. There's action, there's guns a-blazing, there's hiding, there's kidnappings, there's gold, there's rich people drama, good relationships and good romances and friendships. Just a very well-rounded show. And if you need any more, the cast is very attractive. Anyway, if you want to know all that, you probably didn't, but there you go. They announced that they're having a season 4 and they started filming it. They got like a couple weeks or maybe a month of filming. Then the writer strike and actor strike happened. They've just now restarted filming, but I have a feeling it's not going to come out until late 2024, maybe 2025. And I'm a little sad. Okay, let's move on. The next TV show that my mom and I have been watching is The Amazing Race. It's a reality competition show where teams travel the world and have to complete different challenges. Whoever gets to the very end and gets to the finish line first wins $1 million. It's a lot of fun. You get to see a bunch of different places around the world that you probably will never see in real life. And it's a lot of fun to see their stories and see the challenges they have to do. I also kind of reintroduced myself into Heartland. Heartland is one of my favorite shows. I think I stopped watching it season 11, 12, 13, I can't remember. There have been a lot of seasons since, but I'm slowly getting back into it. When I was in college, if I was ever having a down day, I would just restart Heartland because it's such a comfort show to me. It's set on a ranch in Canada. It's beautiful scenery. They have horses. There's just a lot of good family dynamics and relationships in the show. It's really sweet. This last TV show I just recently watched. It's on Netflix now, but it is a Paramount Plus original show. It's called School Spirits. At first, I was not into it. Kind of a strange premise. It's a bunch of students and some faculty that have passed away at the school. They're still living in the school though as ghosts. It's not creepy like it sounds though. It's just that they exist with all the other students, but the other students can't see them. And the main mystery is that the girl who just passed away, she cannot figure out who murdered her. So it's like a crime show, but the girl's trying to figure out her own murder because she can't remember anything about that time. There's a lot of secrets. There is some magical element to it. Of course because you don't just like talk to ghosts on a daily basis. I think it'd be really good if I watched it around Halloween because it wasn't creepy or scary, but it had that eerie feel like for Halloween. Okay, now let's move on to movies. The Little Mermaid movie came out in theaters this year and I watched it with my grandmother and my cousin and it was really fun. I will say I had to close my eyes when the shark came across the screen because I don't do sharks, but other than that, it was a really cute movie. I love the music in it. There are new songs and there's also just revamps of the original songs. I've always loved The Little Mermaid. Ursula's my favorite villain, which is kind of strange. A Walk to Remember, I know that did not come out this year, but I watched it for the first time this year with my cousin. It's one of her favorite movies and I have to agree, it is such a sweet, wholesome romance movie. I didn't like the book as much, but the movie is really precious. And lastly, we're really switching genres here. If you like action-packed movies, but I'm talking action movies like bang bang. I watched John Wick. I've only seen the first John Wick, but I really enjoyed it. I just like action movies, so I want to watch more John Wick movies. But if you like action movies, I feel like you would really enjoy it. Oh, another one. I recently watched, what was the new movie? What is that movie? Is it The Terminator? Terminator. Is that no, it's not the Terminator. It has Denzel Washington in it, but I can't remember. What movie is it? Equalizer. Thank you. Okay. Equalizer 3 came out this year, I believe. And I remember watching that and that was really, really good. It's a really good action movie. Also watched Extraction 2, which is another action movie, and that is on Netflix. Okay, now we can move on. This is my health stuff category. Number one, I've been more into Mad Fit workouts. She has a lot of beginner-friendly, no equipment workouts that I really enjoy. I think she also has some with weights. If you watched my 75 soft video, you know that I'm starting a new health journey, so I've needed some more body weight workouts rather than full-on weight training. So it's really been nice to watch his videos. Another one is just treadmill walks. I have really understood the importance of just walking and getting your steps in and getting some movement. I think it's really good for back pain as well. My back pain has improved tremendously since walking. Stamina is better, so if you have no idea where to start, just start walking on the treadmill. Or just walking. It doesn't have to be on the treadmill, just walking in general. Now I'll talk about two health food items that I've always loved, especially this year. Number one is just yogurt. I love the Canon Light and Fit Greek yogurt. They're 80 calories, they have a great amount of protein in them, no fat, minimal carbs. Probably 90 to 95% of my breakfast this year have included yogurt, which is good. I always like fruit and yogurt and maybe a piece of toast on the side. Call it a balanced meal. Very good. And lastly, I don't know if you would call this a health food. It's popcorners. I think they're a healthier alternative to just fried chips. I love popcorners. I especially love the white cheddar flavor. Those are really good. Now, my favorite purchases of the year. One of my favorite purchases has been my Kindle. I got the Kindle Basic. I have a whole video on deciding if I want a Kindle, and then I have a Kindle review video. If you like reading at all, definitely get yourself a Kindle. I was anti-Kindle for so long because I wanted paper in my hands. I wanted to be able to flip the pages, but I promise you, I read so much faster on a Kindle. It's so much easier to read at night when you're lying in bed. You can put a pop socket on it and read with it above your head. I love the dark mode on it, so it's easier for me to fall asleep without a bright light in my face. I love that it tells me you have this many minutes left in the chapter or you're this percentage through the book. I've loved Kindle Unlimited as well. That's just $10 a month. You get a lot of books on there. It's not really unlimited, but you get a lot of books for free. And I haven't purchased any book to read on Kindle. All my books have been on Kindle Unlimited. So if you ever want any book recommendations on Kindle Unlimited, you can find those on my channel. These are random, by the way. These are all things that I purchased that I thought, oh, that's a really good purchase. This is probably like $4. This is a shower scrubber. I saw somewhere that loofahs hold a lot of bacteria and aren't the best, so I opted for this silicone shower scrubber. You can see the texture of it a little bit, and then it has this gripper right here. You just squirt your soap on it and go to town. I can't tell you if I have less bacteria on my skin, but I will say I haven't had to replace this as often as a loofah, and it doesn't look as gross as a loofah. Another thing I purchased on Amazon are these heatless curls. I will link them down below. I don't even know how much this was, probably $10, $15. I have really enjoyed these heatless curls though. Y'all might have seen this before, but you just put it here and then you wrap your hair around and then you put a scrunchie on the end. Now that kind of looks crazy, but it's not that uncomfortable to sleep in. Okay, now I'm gonna move on to skincare. This year was the year of me trying to figure out what skincare works best for me. My skin is now a lot drier than it was, so I've been having to find different products. I did a lot of research. I watched a lot of Hyram videos. I watched a lot of dermatology videos, and I found good products that have worked for me so far. I've been using a lot of CeraVe products. This is the hydrating facial cleanser. I also use the daily moisturizing lotion and then their thicker moisturizing cream for nighttime. To take off my makeup, I used to just use like a cotton round and then eye makeup remover, but I would never double cleanse my face. Like I would never get off any face makeup or powder I had on. I would just go in one time with a cleanser and be done. But that's really not getting everything off. You need an oil cleanser and then a normal cleanser. So I've used a couple different ones. and this one I really enjoyed. This is the ginseng cleansing oil. You just squirt it in your hands and lather on your face. It gets my eye makeup off, it gets my face makeup off if I have on any like BB cream, but it's also important to use if you're not wearing makeup to get all the dirt and oil off your face. I know putting oil on oil doesn't really make sense, but scientifically it really does work. And then you follow it up with a cleanser. Don't just leave the oil on your face. You have to wash it off and then use a cleanser. Definitely seen an improvement in my skin. And then this year I learned the importance of sunscreen every single day. I used to be very sporadic in my sunscreen use because it left a white cast and I didn't like that, but I found a sunscreen that really works for me. This is Hero brand. This is a mineral sunscreen, which I think is much better than a chemical sunscreen. This has a green tint to it, so it balances that red tint to my skin. This is an SPF 30. I wear it every day. It goes under my makeup. It is so lightweight, very easy to blend, very affordable too. And then lastly, this might be a weird thing, I have really enjoyed Aquaphor this year. It's a really good lip balm for me, but I've also been slugging, which was a new term for me, about once every 2 weeks. You could do it once a week or even less or more depending on what you want. Anyway, I've been slugging, which is really just putting on some kind of petrolatum based product on your face. Aquaphor is a petrolatum based product. It's a lot thicker. Yes, it is goopier, but I've noticed a big difference the day after I use it. It brings a lot of hydration back to my skin, a lot of glow back to my skin. I'll put it all over my face. I know it looks really gloopy, and that's kind of why they call it slugging, because you kind of look like a slug and all the slime. And lastly, I just want to talk about 3 different things I have learned this year that have been really important to me. Number 1 is just to be honest and straightforward with people. I think there's a way to be very straightforward with people and very honest with people without being blunt and rude, and I'm trying to find that balance because I am just a very straightforward person. There's a bunch of little instances in life, but we just be straightforward and honest with another person. They can respect that. It's a lot easier. It helps you not hold grudges. It helps you not hold on to things. It just helps you let emotions out better if you just say it like it is rather than sugarcoating a bunch of things to everyone around you. And now, yes, if you are working in retail or customer service, I think you do need to sugarcoat some things. The second thing I've learned is don't give up on yourself. I think we can all relate to this. There have been a lot of times this year that I've just wanted to give up on certain dreams or certain goals of mine, but I didn't give up on myself. I also had other people not giving up on me and giving me encouragement. That's not a go me thing. It's just really relying on the Lord. It's not really myself that has the strength. It's relying on the Lord and knowing that He has given me the capability to do these things if this is what His will for me is in my life. The last thing is to cherish your family and friends. We lost my grandmother this year. We lost my grandfather a couple years back. Grief is just horrendous. I'll just say it. Grief sucks. It's something that I don't want anyone to have to deal with, and it has been hard. Grief is crazy. It is literally crazy. One day you'll be fine. The next day it'll just hit you at random moments. One day when I was at work, this is before my grandmother died. It has been a couple of years since my grandfather died, and it still feels very raw and fresh. I saw somebody at work that reminded me of him, and I started crying. And I had to just like cover it up because I didn't want anyone to see it. It's not something to be ashamed of, but at that time I was like, I don't want anyone to see this because I can't really explain it. I just saw something that reminded me of him, and it made me cry. And then same with grandmama. My grandmother passed away, and these random things that keep coming up, it's just like crazy. I don't even know. Words don't work to explain grief. Grief is just crazy. But cherishing your family is something that I have just been reminded of so much. Rather than saying, oh, well, this is boring, to go sit and just talk or sit and just listen. It's still cherishing your family. You're gonna miss those times. Oh, that was deep. That was morbid. I did not mean to like end on this sad note. Let's think about one more favorite thing from this year, because that was sad. I did not like that. Oh, I found a new favorite cookie recipe. This is a copycat crumble cookie recipe. If you love chocolate chip cookies like I do, you're gonna love this recipe. The way you put the dough on the baking sheet is really interesting. You make a ball of dough and then you split it in half so they stack right on top of each other, and then the way they spread out and bake makes them look so voluptuous and delicious. So good. There's the happy note. Now on another happy note, let's talk about the Bible verse for today. Psalm 18:28. For it is you who light my lamp. The Lord my God lightens my darkness. The Lord brings light into our life. He shows us the way to go. He's with us every step of the way. He brings light back. He brings joy back. Now, no, in terrible times, there's not going to be happiness, but we can have joy despite all the circumstances in our life. He brings light. Hope this encouraged you today. I hope maybe you got some favorites out of this video, and I hope you'll have a wonderful, wonderful day and be a blessing to others today. Bye, guys.